Hello, this is Connor Golden. I'm going to be showing my Pan for Gold plugin, starting with the diagram here. So the first step is the MS decoder, which was pretty simple. It just has an engaged switch in the GUI, and all it did is calculate the mid side with the left and right signals, and then it turns the left into the mid and the right into the side. And I'll go to this after because it's got the most. But this is the gain calculator and the gain multiplier right here on the left and right channels. And that calculation is made by three objects on the GUI: volume knob in dB, a mute switch, and a channel switch. And that goes between left, right, and stereo. Okay, and then this is the pan calculation and the gain multipliers that come from it, and the main element is the pan knob, and that calculates the position into the pan values. This is the LFO path, and the element that I added was a sync rate to the BPM, and that steps in 5 subdivisions between a half note and a 16th note, and I'll demonstrate that with the sound. And this is like a free rate just in hertz, and so there's a switch that alternates between those two settings. And then this was like my own element, and it's controlled by the depth knob of the LFO, but it actually doesn't have to do with the LFO itself. So I just called it like a glitch pan, and it's basically the idea of like if you had a MIDI controller, you could push a button and have it hard pan left and right, and that distance or extremity is controlled by the depth knob, and that has an engage as well. So yeah. Oh, also I have stereo VU meters. Yeah, so let's go into the plugin. So I've got a little electric piano loop here. Let me turn the mod off to begin with. So the mute obviously works. MS decode. Doesn't sound good on this, but it works. We got left, we got right, we got stereo. Oh, and I got the panner to pan outside the stereo field, so if you notice, like up here at 0.8, should be fully panned to the right, and then as it keeps going, the left is introduced phase reverse, so it almost gets quieter. Interesting effect, and same for on this side. And all that was extending the range of the equal power panning function with the sine and the cosine. And it just, instead of having this pan value go from -1 to 1, I just multiplied that by a little bit, so it goes, you know, from -1.2 to 1.2. Okay, let me show the LFO mod. So right now the switch is on free rate. So those are continuous values. And if I switch to the sync rate, we got the half note, quarter note, got 8th note triplet, 16th note. There should be an 8th note in there somewhere. But those are all discrete values. Okay, so let me show the glitch function. Basically, you either use this or that. And this is controlled by the depth knob. So if I turn it all the way up, you notice that it's all on the left. And then this button basically switches it back and forth. It doesn't really make too much sense to use with your mouse, but if you had a MIDI controller, you could get that going like as a performance element. And then I have 2 meters here, left and right. Let me just demonstrate that that works. I figure since it's a panning plugin, it might as well have a left and right meter. And then finally a volume knob. So yeah, that's pan for gold.